question was, what are these little check boxes on the side? It's an option for a student to, as they complete things, to check off the box and say, okay, I was there for that day, I learned that stuff. I did this homework assignment, I did these notes, I did this homework assignment. So if you log into Moodle as the parent, you can see, must have been that. Because we don't put dates on here. We don't want dates on here because this might be tomorrow's lesson, it might be 2 days from now, it depends on the pace of the class. But we always want to put all of the resources on here so that you can go ahead if you want to, you can slow down and take it back if you want to, practice some skills. You can click on the notes, you can see the entire PowerPoint presentation, everything about that lesson. You can see example homework assignments on that stuff. You can sit at home at the kitchen table, work with your child on that, practice those skills. Google Drive is generally where all of their homework assignments are that they're doing, they're submitting, they're turning in, working on in-class projects, unless it's a paper and pencil type of a thing. And if they're in class working on a map and drawing things and turning it in, it might not be on Google Drive. In Moodle, you will find notes from class, homework assignments, example tests sometimes, what's being assigned generally. You might not see it on Moodle. Might be, let's say, a history teacher says to the class at the end of class, guys, we've been talking a lot about the creation of the Bill of Rights and the first 10 amendments for the Constitution. Here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to go home tonight, and on Moodle, I've listed our Constitution and our first 10 amendments. I want you guys to go home, and I want you to create your own amendments. If you were writing the Constitution, what amendments would you create? Write 3 for me, just 3 amendments. That assignment might not be on Moodle. The Constitution will be on Moodle. Those Bill of Rights will be on Moodle, so they can access that material, but the actual assignment of write me 3 amendments might not be on Moodle. So you're going to have to trust your child a little bit in certain cases, at certain times that they're doing the work, but you'll be able to say, all right, I see the Constitution on here, you're going to see the Bill of Rights, you obviously were learning about that. What was your homework assignment? Because they have homework every single night. Oh, I had to write 3 amendments. Show me them. Is it on Google Drive? I want to see that. I want to see the document where you wrote them. Sometimes they email the teacher with an attachment. Sometimes they share it with the teacher. It depends on what the teacher wants from them. If a teacher wants to collect the assignments, to print them out, to hand them out in class maybe, and do some things with them, they might want an attachment. If the teacher wants to actually go into the file, add some comments, edit it, and do some things, they might ask them to share it. Most of the time, honestly, the teacher might ask them to share it with other students in class so they can peer edit and review, and the teacher's actually walking around looking at them, grading them in class while they're having their conversations, and so they're not actually asking them to turn in their homework. They see, all right, Johnny, nice try, good job on that one, okay, nice try. So they're grading it kind of while the students are discussing, arguing, helping. Always feedback is provided, always. Otherwise, what's the point of doing homework if you don't get feedback? If you do something just to do it, I understand homework for the sake of practice. You do 30 math problems, you get better at doing those math problems, but you still need feedback on are you doing it right. Feedback is paramount. It is essential. If a child's not getting feedback, that's a teacher I want to know about, and that's a correction that needs to be made. Kind of summarize briefly. Moodle's where all the stuff is located, the content, the information, the curriculum. If you want to see what your child is doing, look at Moodle. If you want to see how your child is doing, you look at Infinite Canvas. That tells you the scores, it shows you their growth, it shows you their progress. If you want to see what your child is doing, you look in their Google Drive. You can see their homework assignments, their projects, all of that stuff. So there's different components, and if you're missing some, you're missing huge pieces of the picture. I'm going to encourage you to email your teachers, call them. You might see discrepancies, you might see differences. Every teacher's a little bit different. Again, some teachers might be doing a 1 out of 0, and some teachers are doing 1 out of 1. It's always because they're trying to make your lives easier, But there's going to be levels of inconsistency. That just happens. What is consistent across the board in our school is that every single teacher uses Moodle, every single teacher uses Infinite Campus, every single teacher uses Google Drive. Every single teacher gives 1s, 0.5s, and 0s on homework assignments to determine level of mastery. Every single teacher uses these assessments on that 4-point scale. Students can take those assessments as many times as they want. Growth is what's important. How many homework assignments they put in here? You'll see teachers with 30 or 40 assignments in there already. You'll see teachers with 7 or 8. It doesn't mean that your child has only had 7 or 8 homework assignments. It means that the homework assignment that the teacher was using to gauge mastery, do they know that skill? They put that one. There might be a homework assignment that you guys just need to practice. I want you to go home, I want you to practice on this, please. Doing this isn't going to prove that you've mastered this skill. I don't want to give your parents a false sense of you've mastered this because I give you a 1 on it, but you need some practice. Go home, practice this skill. And the teacher might not type it into the grade book. They might, just for your feedback on whether or not your child did it or not. But they're definitely going to type it in every single time where they're talking about has that student mastered that specific skill. But they should be typing in most of those things. And I love it when I see 30 assignments, because yet your children are getting homework just about every single night. And if they're telling you otherwise, they're getting homework every single night. And you can look on Moodle now and see what their homework assignment is. And so when they come home and say, I don't have any homework tonight. Oh, really? Because it looks like in algebra, you're getting ready for a final assessment. How are you studying for that final assessment? When is that final assessment? Is that tomorrow? Is that Wednesday? Because it doesn't have a date on here, but I know it's coming, and you reviewed for it today. Oh, yeah, no, I'm supposed to be studying a little bit. Great, let's pull out that PowerPoint presentation and I'll help you study. It's all here for you. They can never tell you, I don't have homework. You can see it. They can never tell their teacher, I lost my homework. You log in and it's there.